Maybach music.
Apologize, I don't recollect your name.
Oh baby, I don't know your
Let
name.
me tell you that them heels really compliment your frame.
Look at your body, baby.
Ooh, and I gotta catch my plane.
Okay. First of all, before we get into the critique, tell us your process. Tell us all the equipment you use and etc. So we get a great understanding of your video.
So the process, I really did get inspired by the music video because I like that
Mm-hmm.
song.
Oh, that's so crazy.
So with the music video, it used a lot of fades.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I use a lot within that video. The process was more of a creative type process. I enjoy just piecing it together. Some of the shoots that I do have a set shot list,
Yeah.
but with that one in particular, I did just go full on creative. So it was pretty fun piecing it together. The equipment that I use, I was shooting on a Canon R6 Mark II.
Canon guy.
Ah,
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Dang, Cody, you crazy. Go ahead.
but the light I was using, it was what was the light called? It'll come back to me.
Okay.
But it was a
You use the light.
continuous.
You use the light overall.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a continuous.
Okay.
I did use a little bit of a gimbal. It was a RS2.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah,
It kept the camera stable.
definitely.
Okay.
Then I did edit on a MacBook, and also I used CapCut on that one.
Bet it up. All right. Let's take it back to the top, Cody. You know how we get.
Yep.
Put the glass on so we can break this down for my boy. All right. First thing first. Let's go ahead and play the first 7 seconds.
Maybach music.
I definitely see the 1990 hip hop effect where it's glitching back and forth. I've seen that.
Yep.
That's pretty clever. I haven't seen it in a minute. So good job on achieving it, first of all. You know what I'm saying? So let me ask you this. How did you know how to do it? Did you look it up? Or it was something pretty straightforward? Like, okay, I could just cut it multiple times to get it.
It was straightforward. It was more trial and error. And certain things I like to look up, certain things I just like to, I'll call it digging. So just making sure that I really understand it within what I'm trying to do and just making sure it looks fluid and not looking rushed. I'll play it back multiple times, make sure it actually looks like something that I would want to watch.
Perfect. All right. Well, this is how we do it. We'll let Cody and I go first to second. With each one of our own critiques and advice on towards the video, and then we go from there. Hear your insight, and that'll be the critique. So go ahead, Cody. Go ahead and pop it off.
All right, so for what we just watched so far, like JB said, I do like the glitch coming in and out effect, like the early 90s to early 2000s videos, but I think there was just personally for me a whole lot of the what do you call it, like cross dissolve that was going on as far as the transitions. And even though I could tell personally being a videographer where you were going with it, it definitely hit the nostalgia mark, but as far as the visual mark, it could have been a little bit cleaner in transition wise. So it just seems like there was some moments where it probably shouldn't have faded, or maybe it faded too quickly back into another fade. So just be careful with how many you add to it, and always make sure it's adding to the video and not over exaggerating the video. The second thing I'll say here, so this shot right here, I don't personally think it adds necessarily to the story. Again, you would want movement in this shot, not necessarily the heels just sitting there or standing there. You would want her to be moving around, or maybe even if she had something specifically she wanted to show down there, like a very nice, expensive piece of jewelry or some nice shoes or something, still you want to add movement so that it's not just a shot of her standing there. And one more thing I'll say just for the first 7 seconds before I pass it to JB is there's a lot of these shots, or I ain't gonna say a lot because we're only 7 seconds in, but some of these shots so far, what we're seeing is there's some highlights that keep appearing in her forehead. So a lot of these are like too much highlights. They need to be brought down. Or honestly, it looks like the light itself probably should have been turned down a little bit. Did you use a what are they called? Sorry, just went up my mind. Jesus, softbox. Sorry, did you use a
There you
softbox?
I bounced it. I
Okay,
bounced it off the ceiling.
go.
got you. Okay, yeah, that's why. Because it could as much as that works, a lot of times it could definitely create
That's
some.
me changing it around. Sorry.
I got you. Okay, you good? Yeah, that definitely could create some harsh highlights. But I'm gonna let JB go before I say too much stuff.
All right, let's break it back down. So we at the top. Boom. Perfect. So did you have the gimbal the whole time?
Not the whole time.
Not the whole time. So you went a little handheld, a little gimbal action at the same time. No tripod, right?
No.
No tripod. Boom. 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 Nice cut to the beat. I'm sure it was to the beat. That was like another one of the things I always give people with videography when it comes to editing. That cut to the beat is like one of the fundamentals. If you don't get that right, that's one of the first things you should learn is cut to the beat. Next thing, white balance. I know I taught you several times about white balance. Now, one of the biggest things you pay attention to a white balance is those skin tones. Sometimes Cody get on my head about it. Sometimes like, hey, fix them skin tones, make it look more natural. Stop making them look so red. Stop making them look so blue. But a lot of time that just comes either from your white balance out your camera, and then you go inside your editor and change it. So 9 times out of 10, you want to even out that white balance with the shirt. So you see how our shirt is white. You want your white balance to kind of mirror that because it 9 times out of 10, if you get it right with the shirt, it's going to automatically be close to the skin. Now my question, I know you probably don't remember this. How did you set your white balance?
I believe that one was like usually with that light, I would use it around 5300, 5600.
Okay, so this is definitely like a cooler room, or it may have been a warmer room, but I definitely would have, because I don't know where the warm lights come from. There's a lot of warm lights in the building.
Yes. So earlier within that shot, it was around, it was when the sun was setting. So it was around 7 to 8 p.m. And
Okay,
that shot right there, it was completely dark, but it's a lot of
and these lights that's on top of the roof, were they on? Were lights on the roof here? Are they
yeah,
on? Because where's this warm look coming from on the floor? Is it
the
the
lights.
the actual light source you have, or the
No,
actual building?
the building.
Oh, okay. So one of the things we always tell people with white balance as well, when it comes to shooting against warmer light, you want to do the complete opposite. So if you see warmer lights, like your kitchen lights, you might need to go ahead and automatically know I need to go below 4,500 Kelvin. And then, of course, if you see cooler tones, you want to try to even it out. Sometimes 4,500 is the sweet spot, but 9 times 10, you're going to be going back into the 5,000s, the 5,600s, and etc. However look you want to go. But I like it overall as far as the beginning. Boom. But I'm not a fan of, like Cody said, of the like static shots, especially if you got a gimbal. You should have definitely used the gimbal to bring more life to it. And these shoes, if you're gonna use the shoes, like Cody said, you should have used this at the beginning. When she walked up, you should have had those shoes walking, and then when it stopped, boom, right on her. One of the things we tell everybody: the more angles, the better. And you did do a lot of different angles, but we definitely feel like you didn't make these specific subjects stand out in a way like they should have. The shoes would have been perfect if this was like a video to broadcast only the shoes, and we was trying to sell the shoes. But now that we're
Right.
doing a lifestyle and we're showing off a person, nothing should be sitting still. Even when she was sitting there with her face like that, in a way, that kind of don't even make sense. You see what I'm saying? Because it's too static. She need to be gliding her head to the right, gliding her head to the left,
Yep.
or you know what I'm saying, moving across your frame, things like that. That way you can make these shots and items more dynamic. My next thing, this shot, boom, it was pretty cool. But like I said, it just seemed like a lot of, all right, stand there, all right, step your foot out, turn your head. You know, it's like, okay, walk into it, step your foot out, and then give us a nice turn to the camera.
Yeah.
And you should have did that with the gimbal, with you slowly gliding in and things like that. Now, was this the only area you could have used or something?
I feel like lighting wise,
Yeah.
well, really, I was going for the background with the
Yeah.
windows in the bed.
Yeah.
That's why I used that area.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. And then we go
One
into the
thing,
next. Go ahead.
before we move on real quick, one thing I will say about that is it's cool, especially at night when you don't have sun coming in to shoot windows because they look cool. But as you can see here, it's almost all black. So the only thing you kind of do see is the outline of the window. So you usually would have a background light in your background, but since you're shooting at windows, you're obviously not going to point a light there. So I would say just for future reference, try to have more of a reason for shooting into windows. So like not just because they're there, but like maybe there's a scene over there that you want to capture, or maybe there's a bunch of people walking in the background that fits the part of the scene that you're capturing.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just like the outside sky with some silver bars.
Yeah. Because one of the things a light source will do is it actually deteriorates your video real quick. The fact that I don't think you said you didn't have a softbox, correct?
No.
No,
Yeah, yeah. So that's like one of the worst things you low key can do in a situation like this, because let me take it back. Let me show you. It was just one shot that. Well, here you go right here. It's gonna do a lot of this. So you see these shadows behind the shoe. It's gonna do a lot of that in different areas along your journey of not using the softbox.
Yep.
And as you can see on the window frames, you see like small glares of the light, just due to the fact that your light source is a little bit too harsh for what's going on. Maybe if it was a little further away, it might have worked. Or you can also, a little cheat code, because you had a funnel on top of the light at least.
Yes.
Yes, you also can throw a softbox cover and throw it over the funnel, and now you have a creative softbox in a way. But just don't blast it through it, because it's not gonna be able to spread. You got anything else on this, Cody?
No, I said for that.
You got anything right there?
I think there was too quick a flashing, and it looked like from what JB just did that you just took the one same shot and just kept going back and forth with it, which can be cool if that's an effect you're going for. But I think since you got so many or only so many shots you can get in that area, it kind of looks a little bit too repetitive.
Oh, not too far.
Okay, yeah, that shot right after that. Yeah, that one specifically too. Also, it was out of focus. So it came into her super right there. It came into her out of focus, and I think she stayed out of focus for that whole shot. Which again, if you had maybe some stuff going on in the background that you like a second person and you were rack focus from her to the other person, that'd been cool. But since she's just out of focus and she's the subject for this video, it kind of throws it off a little bit.
Yeah, and as you can see, this warm look in the background, back focusing on that white balance. The moment you would have seen in your camera, okay, that background look a little warm. I need to try to make that a lot cooler. And you can do that in the camera. I know a lot of places we see as is, but they don't have to be as is out of the camera. Having a lighting source was great. Like I said, we just overall recommend soft boxes every time because it's gonna throw harsh light. That's like shooting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when there's no clouds and the sun beaming with no ND filter. It's just as bad as shooting at night with no soft box.
And the whole point of white balancing is just to give it to you a little easier is to, like the term says, balance your not light necessarily, but balance your color. So what you'll do is, like you said, if it's too warm in the room, you'll want to turn it down a little bit to maybe 46, 45, somewhere around there.
Even 3,000.
I was about to say, I went in a room just a couple
30.
weeks ago.
3. I said it wrong. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I went in a room a couple weeks ago that was so orange. I had to throw it to 3,200 because it was that orange.
Yeah. So don't be scared to play with your white balance. And one of the things, if you want to learn how to use your white balance, start all the way at 2,000 and then slowly build your way up until you like, okay, no, that looks even to me. And a lot of times in your editor, even if you get close and you drag your color pen onto the shirt where adjust the white balance automatically, or if you don't have a color pen, slide your white balance over to the left or right, wherever it's cooler or warmer, to make your image even. And you just want to pay attention to like white t-shirts, mainly white t-shirts. That's like one of the go-tos.
And like JB said, with the color picker inside of an editor, so if you've ever edit inside of Premiere, I'm sure you have, there'll be a little color picker that you can select where your white balance is. So what you would do is select the white in the room. So you would select her shirt, and it'll automatically give its best white balance. And most, like 99% of the time, it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Sometimes you might have to tweak it just slightly, but
Yep.
That's if you got to tweak it anymore, that means you went a little bit too warm.
Yeah.
On your end.
Yep.
All right. Oh, again, like Cody said, this shot I feel like was super repetitive throughout the video. You could have had her walking up. You had the line of symmetry with this angle right here specifically. So if she would have been walking along this rail up until this point, that would have been perfect. But less static, more movement, especially in video. That's one of the things that I would definitely want to drive home today.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna take it back a few seconds.
I don't recollect your name.
Oh, baby, I don't know your
Let me tell you that them heels.
This shot came back. Where is that?
Yep.
I understand what you did. You heard him say, "Them heels." Yeah, I know what you did. I know what you did. I know what you did. But different shot of the heels.
Yep.
You know, don't give us the same shot. When you watch Nike, they don't have the same shot going on in their video. When you watch anybody video, you don't see the same shot. No, for the most part. I mean, if they do, it's probably something.
And one more thing, go back real quick. I know that the whole point of the whole aesthetic you were going for here was the crossfade and all, like they did in the music videos.
Yeah.
But when you crossfade on a person to another person, like even if it's the same person, it kind of looks crazy because it like puts their body onto their next body, and it's like out of proportion, so it just looks weird. So I would say if you're gonna do fade to fade to fade, try to throw maybe a little bit of B-roll in there. Like if you're gonna get a nice shot of the heels, get a really nice shot of the heels, use it once for a couple seconds just to go back and forth, so you're not fading from a body onto a body.
Oh, here we go. We got got shadows.
Yep.
We got shadows. So let's look. Can we see in the back of the room? So if you pay attention to the wall in the back, you see a reflection of the rails. I wish I can like have a marker on here or something.
Yeah, right.
That'd be probably dope. But do they have that? Let me check. Let's see. No, they don't. Okay. But anyway, so in the back, there is shadow coming from your key light. If I was to bring it closer where it's more transparent, if we look on the back of the chair after her arm, we see a strong shadow right there. The reason is, for one, your light is on the wrong side. So if you're gonna use a light, guess what you gotta do? You gotta move the light. That's the worst thing about using lighting. That's why you got all these big companies that only do lighting, and you got ones that only do the camera.
Yep.
Because every single different shot, that means somebody got to change the lighting at every single different shot.
Yep.
But the fact that you did this by yourself, that means you would have had to move that key light to the right, and I don't even know if you would have still got rid of those shadows for real, due to the fact that
you're only using one light. You don't got a fill light. It's very dark.
And nor do you have a softbox.
Right.
More so you don't have a
softbox, but for that shoot, I just bounced it most of the time.
Now
I tried to move it,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
but the when I tried to move it, it didn't have any outlets over there, and I didn't have a box with me.
And now I totally understand. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do on set, but this is strictly just to help you grow and help all of us grow. When you're on set like that and stuff like that arises, that's what sets you apart from other people. You got to figure it out. You know, if it don't matter if you got to go next door and say, "Hey, can I borrow a drop cord real quick? I'll bring it right back." That's just what I learned. You got to do. You can't. Somebody taught me one time, and it's the greatest thing. Sentence I say it all the time. It's don't tell me no. Don't tell me no. Show me how.
Yeah, that's a great one. So let's say hypothetical. Okay. Bounce light. Well, we're not talking hypothetical. I'm gonna take that back. Bounce light. I don't agree with bounce light in a room like this. The reason why there's so much space is barely anywhere the light is even going to bounce. So you would have to strategically bounce that light to the point where it bounced straight up and immediately came back to her out of that big old cafeteria. So I felt like and it don't seem like the roof was that high. I don't know how high you had the light. Now it could be you didn't even have a stronger source of light. Now, if I would have threw the 600D in there, me personally, that thing would have been
lit
cool.
up. Yep.
Now it just depends on your lighting source as well, how strong it was. Because the weaker your light source is, it seems like the more it work against you, almost, in my opinion.
It does.
But I definitely see your point of view of the bounce light. I just feel like the bounce light, for one, was on the wrong side. Maybe putting it on the other side would have helped you a lot. I know pointing at her would have been definitely a no-go.
Yep.
Maybe you could have bounced it off the floor because the floor is also white.
And now that I know that you did bounce the light, it makes more sense of why it's so far. But especially in some of the shots we've already seen, the light is definitely extremely far away, because I can see the whole room that you're filming in front of you, behind you, and at her. So it's like the light's supposed to be between 3 to 6 feet. And of course that depends on how you're pointing it and the power of the light and all that. But generally speaking, 3 to 6 feet away. And I could tell that was probably at 6 to plus maybe 12 feet away.
Yeah. So, okay, that worked out. Next shot, we keep it going. Oh, also another static shot. And I don't get the pin ordeal. Maybe it would have gave us a close up. It would have made a little bit more sense. A lot of wide shots. I will say that you had a lot of wide shots. Give us some super close ups. Give us some mediums. Give us some low angles. And of course, walk with her with the gimbal. If you're gonna do handheld, that's cool too, because the handheld shaky look when you walk somebody, it's not bad. Just how you play it off in the editor.
Yeah.
What makes it good. I don't know. Okay, there you go. But less static shots, more movement. And this shot, I would have said, pick up the pin and go into that motion instead of already being in that motion, or in that position, as I should say. And give me a different angle, like a medium or close up, like you did with the heels.
Tell you that them heels
Yeah, that boy had them heels on. Okay, here we go.
really
Okay,
Yeah.
let's start that up. Oh, hold on, wait.
really compliment your frame.
That okay. You had a gimbal, right?
Yes.
Can you explain why this shot was so shaky?
Really compliment.
It seemed like he was wobbling a lot. Was the gimbal not stabilized? Was it hard to stabilize? Was it unbalanced? Or were you just moving too fast on it a little bit?
I believe I could have moved slower, but
Yeah.
also I feel like it picked it up just because I sped it up too.
Yeah. See, it's like right here, or you probably didn't cut the clip in time, because at this point, I went back way too far. Here we go. It goes after this. Right there, that beginning part, we got all the shaking.
Yeah.
Every single piece of shaking. So it's like,
Yeah.
right there, that beginning point was like you seemed like you turned the gimbal, or you was trying to straighten it up, and then you start walking to her. I can see that part of the clip. So I would have said definitely cut this clip a little later. That way.
And it also looked like, perhaps, I don't know exactly what frame rate you were shooting in, but it looks like it's a combination of both what JB just said, and it looks like you were shooting in 24 frames a second and sped it up.
I was shooting 60.
Okay, never mind then.
There you go. Headroom is magnificent.
Yeah, that's good headroom.
I would say come down some personally. It's good headroom, but I would say come down. Fill the frame with your subject, because what's this video about? It's about her, right? So let's fill it up with her. We don't want to see cafeteria. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what this is. I'm just saying cafeteria. Not trying to be funny. That's just my term I'm using right now. Pretty cool. Okay. All right, keep going. Now, I'm not a fan of the going in and coming back on this gimbal shot and the speed ramp. That's kind of OD.
Yeah.
Came back to this same shot we seen at the beginning, and came back to the pencil,
Yeah.
Again, like I said, this shot be magnificent if you had her moving around doing stuff. Sometimes when you can't think of nothing creative, just tell them to do something. With, you know what I'm saying? Hey, just do it come to your mind, and sometimes that'll be nice for you because you never know what they'll do. It might be something that you can add.
Yeah.
Because because I know it's kind of like you did on the fly, kinda. You didn't really like script it out all the way, which I get. A lot of times, me personally, I'm not a idea guru. You're not, Cody not, and ideas run through everybody's head, and we don't just have a dictionary of ideas. I will say, with finding ideas, leverage Pinterest. Oh, tons of ideas in Pinterest. You probably would have came up with some nice shots on Pinterest, but
Or
I would.
eye candy is a great one too.
Oh, eye candy.
Yeah.
We can send you that after the call. Eye candy. That's actually a great one. But eye candy is like super creative. Pinterest is like I can do this right now. But you gotta actually know how to do certain stuff to understand eye candy. But it's great inspiration though.
Yeah.
Especially for effects too.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, you know about eye candy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There we go. Boom. All right, here we go again. That clip with the gimbal. It seemed like so. This always the same clip when you backed up.
Yes.
Okay,
So that's
perfect.
why, because it just started at the end with the same
Yep.
as the beginning.
So you already showed us the first time you backed up that it was the one clip, and then you came back and showed us the rest of the clip, which is cool. But I think you should have cut that up a little bit different. Where all right, this moment we only seeing the camera coming in. Then later on we saw it coming out fully. Don't show us coming in a little bit of it coming out. Then now you change to something static, stuff like that.
Yeah. It's all about building a story.
And now gimbals is like, for me, I'm be honest, if I can be real transparent, gimbals took a little minute to really get used to and understand. Because them things get to move and you gotta stay in control. For one, it's about the settings of the gimbal. For one, taking it off slow, taking it off medium. And I don't know how your gimbal set up, but I know I got the 3. I think they're pretty much the same, except for like when you balance it, it's a little bit more manual. But that's pretty much on there. But they do have slow and medium settings, correct? Or do you just turn it on after balancing?
It's slow and medium.
Yeah. So understanding when to use slow, when to use medium, or even when to use fast, that's been the biggest thing for me as well. So I definitely say understand that and just understand in your head, okay, do you want the gimbal to be faster than your movements? Do you want it to be slower than your movements? Or you want it to be just right? And I had to ask myself, like when I shoot real estate, I do it slow because I want it to be delayed because it gets rid of the shakiness because it's not moving with me. Because when you move in your gimbal, you're a human, you're gonna shake, you might turn by accident, but when it's slow, it's like, oh, I can feel it. You can catch it before it catch up with you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's gimbal talk. That was real one-on-one gimbal talk, huh?
Your real estate videos, that's how you like kind of finesse the shot a little bit.
Yeah. So I put it in slow. Sometimes I put it in medium, but medium be working against me. But that slow, really do what you needed to do.
Yep.
Boom.
And go ahead.
You was about to say the same thing, probably. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say that it kind of like glitched a little bit. It's like it paused, and then I know that's probably the transition, but like JB said, it comes right back to her there holding the pencil, same shot we already seen. And in fact, that shot is so much static, so much of a static shot that it almost looks like a pause screenshot for a second. And then the only other thing I would say about this before JB goes is I don't want to assume anything. Did you shoot this in RAW? Or is this just regular out the camera?
It was just out the camera.
Okay, so the reason I'm saying that is because the light is making your shadows super dark, so it's like crushed the black super hard. So your black shirt down here at the bottom, especially, almost blends in with the shadows or the blackness of the back of the chair. So you got to be careful when you're doing that. That's why they say use 3-point lighting. Now, I'm not saying you would have to use 3-point lighting for the shot and get a whole field back, key light and all that. But just, again, with the softbox, that would have helped because you could have pointed it directly at her and she would have been lit all the way up.
Yeah. This shot was used 6 times. Her sitting in the chair was used 6 times.
Yeah.
You gave us what we wanted. You literally gave us what we wanted at the end. More of that, this would have been
it,
a magnificent video.
Yep.
So if we was to watch this at the top one more time, we'll see it at a different perspective. So okay, more movement. That was cool. Now, actually, let me ask you this one question. Do your camera have touch screen where you could touch the screen and touch on people's face where it has spot focus, or?
Yes.
Yeah. That, now I will say cameras will do you wrong if you let it think for you a lot of times. So tap the face, tap it, make sure it's in focus.
Yeah.
I see this a lot in every videographer almost, and that's pretty crazy to me. Like I see them a lot. If they got a gimbal, they tap, and the other hand tapping, constant tapping the screen, making sure, hey, look, I need to keep this face focused.
So. And that's why it's good to always make sure that's one of the main things I look for in cameras is the autofocus capability. Because even though, you know, we're professionals, whatever you want to call us, you know, we can shoot in manual focus, but all the time that's not going to be really great, especially if you're moving around a lot. That's going to not work out.
Them heels really compliment your frame.
Look at your body, baby.
Ooh, and I gotta catch my
And my closing remarks. This is what I tell everybody when it comes to videos. The song don't make the video, you make the video, and the song plays along after you make the video. When I make videos sometimes, and you want to know a funny part, some of the real estate videos I make with no music. Due to the fact that I tell myself, okay, if this video look good with no music, imagine what it's gonna do with music. So that's a tech. Now I wouldn't say that's always a good tactic because you still want to cut to the beat and stuff like that. But cheat code, if you make a fast-paced video, you just need a song with a high beat per minute.
Yeah.
They call them BPMs.
Yeah.
Whatever BPM is high and you got fast cuts in your edit, if you want to use that tactic that I said, that'll be perfect. Or if you do slow like this one, it's just a low BPM. So that's a cheat code if you wanted to just slide it in there like that. And the only reason why I say that because I can tell that a lot of times in this video you heard frames, you heard heels, and you're like, okay, let me get a shot of the frame, let me get a shot of the heels, and you know, and that's a common way of doing it when you're doing the music. You kind of want it to match, but it seemed like you did so much where it kind of worked against you, low key.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
And
so
I'll say that if, like you said, you do want to cut it to the music, but if you find that you want to try to do it without and you want to go back, I don't know a whole lot about actually reading music, but I know they're measured in quarter notes. So like the beat, it could be like boom, dun, 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 boom, dun, 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 dun. And if you find that beat on most songs and you actually put it to the video, you'll realize that most of your videos will actually go with it. As long as they're like 4-second clips, 8-second clips, whatever, 5-second clips, you'll start to realize that they actually go with the beat. So all you have to do is either trim it down a little bit, trim it up a little bit. But like JB said, if it is good without music, then it's gonna be good with music.
It's gonna be great with music.
Yeah.
So,
and sound design is key too. Making sure.
Yeah, definitely some sound design. Like if she was gonna be walking her heel, give us some heel sound effects.
Yeah.
It's probably some small whooshes or something. Nothing too crazy on your end,
Right.
as far as this edit. But key takeaways: more movements. Pay attention to white balance. Make sure you have a softbox at all time. Keep it like 3 to 6 feet away from your subject, not so far, because it'll invite unwanted shadows from different areas you probably didn't even see. And when it comes to room lights, I know I said white balance, but this a little deeper in white balance. Make sure you do the complete opposite of the room. So you got warm lights in the room, you need to have a cooler Kelvin in your camera, and vice versa. If it was cooler lights, and I mean super cool, on 9 times 10, if you see cooler lights in the building, that's even lighting. You just need to make sure it makes sense.
Yeah. And like JB said, it's a good tip. Just a reminder, if you don't know where to go with the white balance, you can either turn it all the way up or all the way down and work your way up or work your way back down until it starts looking even. And if it starts looking even to the naked eye, then you can almost guarantee you can get it perfect inside the editor.
A few more key takeaways, and then that'll be it. Paying attention to that gimbal, mastering that gimbal, and really getting into that ninja walk concept and getting in control of that gimbal, because that's also hard as well. I will say it takes a minute to really understand that gimbal and really make that gimbal, well, have control of the gimbal, as I should say. That way it won't be moving side to side on you and not really focusing on that subject in front of you. Cause I definitely feel you on them gimbals, man. Certain gimbals be them DJIs be they it, but it's like, well, you gotta have control.
Yep.
And more movements, more angles in your shots, man. So I just told somebody this other day, if you saw those heels and you got one shot of those heels, you got 3 more shots you need to get in them heels, but they need to be different angles and different techniques. That's another cheat code if you want to, go off the dome. It's like, okay, cause I had one client, she was like, JB, are you done with B-roll? I'm like, no. I just in case I go home, I don't want to keep using that same clip, or I don't want to have to keep relying on that same clip. And I didn't even use the B-roll that I ended up getting, but I just need to have it just in case. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I need more B-roll. Okay, perfect. I got it. You don't want to go there like, dang, I'm stuck with 6 shots. Now I got to use the same shot 4 or 5 times. Different stuff like that. So those are some small techniques, man. We'll appreciate you for letting us check out your video. Thank you for supporting us since day one.
Most definitely.
And next time y'all have an event at Fort Valley, make sure you keep Course Creator Academy out there, man, so we can slide up there and throw some game at these people, man.
We need it. We need it for real. I definitely look forward to inviting y'all back out to the Valley. And I definitely appreciate both of y'all for putting me on game about a lot of things, especially within me starting now as a videographer. And y'all really just put the game towards me since day one, really.
There we go.
I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Definitely.